reverse, game breaks, no hits, you know it up, put on more speed. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, slice, through the game, tap, this win it. Rush it again, we're here for the first minute. Carry my team there 6 minutes.
We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. They said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
You know, I think a lot like this will really, light a fire under anybody. I know me personally, like this feeling and the way this feels, like I'm not going to take this lightly. And I think everybody else on the offense will fall in line on that. So hopefully moving forward there won't be, laboring days or nights. Not that it will be perfect, but we're going to work for it.
The culture that Hype and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standard is to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
I've said it from when I got here. The expectation, the standard, is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite.
Good Wednesday evening. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley.
I'm Vols JP.
It's your boy X Factor here.
And I'm Matt Begley.
Got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to unpack. We're going to recap briefly the Alabama game. We're going to look ahead to Kentucky. Nelson is messaging me on Twitter right now saying Tennessee is about to land a commitment in the class of 25. We'll keep an eye on that. JP, have you heard anything about that?
I had no idea. I don't even know who it is. It's been crazy at work, so no, I have not.
I had no idea either. But,
no
you know,
idea.
Full transparency, once the season gets rolling, recruiting takes a backseat, right? I keep up with it a little bit, but it's way more hot and heavy during the summer. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see if Tennessee lands a 4-star commitment out of IMG Academy before we go off air. Let's
out
run
of
down.
IMG?
Yep.
What position does he play?
Running back, 4-star running back out of IMG. Let's see. Donovan Johnson.
I don't know. I don't know what number he was because we went to that game a couple of weeks ago when we was in Florida.
Let me see. Actually, let me just pull up. Let me pull up Twitter and slide into my DMs here and take a look at what Nelson said. Man, just completely off the rails right out of the gates, but that's what happens. You can't see his number. 6 foot, 205 out of IMG, 4-star running back, top 200 prospect. But again, man, those class of 25 guys, I've just really not started to dig into it. Snack Pack says it's a running back from Georgia. So plays at IMG Academy by way of Georgia. Visited, here's an article from Matt Ray from October the 8th. That he was in town to see Tennessee beat South Carolina. Man, that's going to be one I think we're talking about. We are off the rails. We're going to be talking about this upcoming cycle, is that South Carolina game and the atmosphere and how many kids were on campus for that. Hopefully we'll be talking about the Georgia game as well. Guys, come on in. You know the deal by now. Smash the thumbs up, hit the share button, let somebody know. I feel like we got to rebuild this fan base. You can tell the pulse of the fan base by how many people are here on a Wednesday night show. The numbers are down because people are checked out. They think we have nothing to play for. The season's over. The season's over. I remember the days when we were looking for 6 wins to get bowl eligible. That's a topic we're going to get into as well. Let's see who is in the chat. Carlos is here, says go Vols. Ron the Don says spooky, spooky. Yeah, we're playing. Man, it's Halloween. It's the week of Halloween. Why not play some Thriller? I did it last night. Oh, my gosh. Last night was an epic live stream. I know Matt was in the chat. Anybody that was here, what a freaking live for almost 6 hours. Just complete chaos. The end of the night, I'm just playing music, dancing, singing, having a good time. Holy smokes, that's why those streams get privated. You got to be here live on Tuesday nights to be a part of it. Isaac Owens is here. Matt Zimmerman is here as well. I told you guys, JP said we're not going live until we get some more door fees. Donovan drops a $2 super chat, says refs, 4th and 1 calls. Let's get a JP rant going. Don't you worry, Donovan. It is coming. Papa J drops a $5 super chat, says door fee. Matt Zimmerman also for 2 says door fee. Ron the Don drops a $5 super chat, says JP, don't eat all the popcorn in the boom boom room. We coming in too. He said we couldn't go live until you guys drop some door fees. You drop some door fees. All right, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. Again, we're going to get into our predictions for Tennessee and Kentucky. But you guys weren't on the show. X was out of town. JP wasn't. He's not a post-game show guy. Want to kind of get some final thoughts on Tennessee's loss to Alabama. JP, let it rip. You want to talk about Bama bias? You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about? What are your final thoughts on Tennessee dropping one to Alabama?
Well, my final thoughts are it was extremely disappointing. Being up 13 at halftime, and yes, we can talk about the refs, and yes, I definitely think that it was horrible. But at the end of the day, I had sent that text message to, I think Xavier was on there, and Coach Jay, and Dauber, and you, Boogie, and at halftime. Well, maybe not.
He said he was going to mute it.
I had said at halftime, I said Tennessee cannot give up anything cheap. They have to make Alabama show that they can drive the length of the field to score. And what do? The first play from scrimmage in the third quarter, we have a bad run fit, and they break it off for 35 yards. And the very next play, it's a 45-yard touchdown, and all the momentum in the world, and then the darn fair catch and all that crap. And then, I mean, it just snowballed. But this is the problem with this football team is, the second quarter against Florida was horrible. The third quarter against Bama was horrible. How can you not come out against Alabama, a team that you've beaten once in the past 15, 16 years, and not come out juiced up to start the second half when you're up 13 points? That to me was disappointing as can be. I mean, extremely disappointing. And yes, Tennessee had a great opportunity to be up 28-7 at halftime, and they've got to figure out how to be better in the red zone, and they've got to figure out how to be better in short yardage. If we go back and we look at Heupel's first year in 21, that team struggled in short yardage and red zone, and then last year it changed because of Hooker and Princeton Fant, and we don't have that. And it's obvious. I mean, it is absolutely killing us. It is killing this football team to not be able to run on 4th down and 1. And then, as far as the refs go, here's what I'll say. I was more mad in the first half when Tennessee was winning than I actually was in the second half. If you go back and you watch that third down that Milton ran, and there's still photos of it, and his elbow is right there at the 35-yard line, right? Mm-hmm. How do they go back and review that and then mark it at the 34? Mm-hmm. How do you do that?
No idea.
Somebody explain that. Somebody explain how that you do that. Here's what I'll say about the refs. I don't think that the refs that ref that, say, that Mississippi State Arkansas game,
Texas.
I don't think that they cared who won that football game. I don't think that the refs probably cared who won that Tennessee Alabama football game. But you know who cared who won that football game? It was Greg Sankey and the SEC. And they stick their nose into it. You cannot tell me that they do not get in those refs' ears and they tell them how to call those games. They do.
Yeah, I mean, just my thoughts about, well, since we're already on the ref topic, I mean, my thing is just, and this is just goes out to just all sports in general. One of the refs going to be like accounted for, calling these games. I mean, it's just, we all know that there's some gamble debts that goes behind that, and some of the mafia is involved in it and all that crazy stuff. But I'm a firm believer is that, listen, look, you play the game fair, man. Like, call the game like it should be called. And the thing that gets me, like I said, especially like in the second half, like that one call, it was, the delayed game on the defense. Because Elijah Herring, like I said, he was, just clapping, hyping his guys up, and the ref calls delay of game. And I'm just like, why would you call delay of game on the defense? Even Elijah Herring was like, dude, I'm just hyping my guys up. So that was a little weird. And then what you said, JP, with the whole like Joe Milton call about him getting the first down, I was confused about that as well. And then another thing with Joe Milton is that, yes, I love that he was able to run the ball and be more physical, but there were times he did kind of hesitated. And then I was just like, Joe, truck somebody over, man. Like I said, quit being so timid, quit being so scared, and just truck him over and get the first down. And then, like we were talking about in the back room, like with Josh Heupel on the play, all that. Listen, I love Coach Hype. I really, really do. He is our football coach until we say that he's not. But the biggest question of it all is that, okay, you're 4th and 1 or you're 4th and inches. Why are you not lining up under center? Why are you not doing that? Everybody that has played Madden, every high school football coach, even Little League football knows you got to go under center on 4th and inches, on 4th and 1 to get the first down. Everybody knows that. So that's just the one play call with Josh Heupel that I just kind of scratched my head that I just don't understand. But just overall with the game, I mean, listen, look, we'll give credit where credit's due. We're Bama. They stopped our defense. They somehow found a way to win in the third quarter. The third quarter was theirs, and the rest is history. So I'll give credit where credit's due to Bama. Kudos to that. But it's just disappointing, heartbreaking, and we just got to do better, man. We just got to do better.
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole game goes into opportunities. And you go back and you look at the first quarter and the momentum that Tennessee had, they still couldn't close. Joe missed the throw to in the end zone, threw it hard, but then he comes back and makes a great throw on an all-out blitz to Castles to end, the front half of the middle eight. We've talked about it in other shows. We'll talk about it again, I'm sure, but the consistency overall of this offense, whether it's 4th and 1, whether it's, hitting open receivers, drop passes, that whole, if you look back at that beginning of that half, the momentum kind of started to switch just a little bit when Dante Thornton decided to alligator arm a catch because he's scared to death to get hit by the safety or the linebacker. Mm-hmm. And they go back and replay it and they criticize him and tell him, but we've seen that from Thornton how many times now? 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. It's just opportunities missed that they are not capitalizing on. And I think every Tennessee fan, when you go and you kick 2 field goals and it's 13-0, we're all going, man, what if? And our quarter should have been quarter one, but it was only 13 instead of either 20 or 21, maybe even 28 going into halftime. And then momentum switched in an instant, right? The third quarter happened. You had T-Mac fall, or I think he got, turned around on that great move by the receiver, wide open. But then you go back and look at it, and Tyler Barron's getting, choked out on a play, and it's not called. What you said, JP, is right. I mean, I agree with you 100%. The SEC office is in Birmingham, Alabama. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that.
And it's not going to change. It's not going to change.
It's not.
And then it was the fourth down play after the fair catch. And I went back and rewatched that to begin with. I don't know if you guys saw this, but on the opening kickoff, T-Lander does something very similar to what he did in the second one, where he points out instead of up. I think what he's doing there is he's pointing out for a deep kick and up for a sky kick, right? And if you're Alabama and you saw that and they put that in the ear of that, that line judge, and you got caught on it there, and momentum was completely gone. But the crazy thing is you had the opportunity. You're down 7 with 9 minutes or 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and you blow a coverage, and it's a strip sack. That's still a touchdown game right after, which we hadn't seen in the whole damn game, it seemed like, a screen pass to Sampson that he breaks a tackle and gets a first down. So to me, it's disappointing, yes, but it's just the opportunity lost, right? You had every opportunity to go win that football game, and you couldn't capitalize, and that's the frustrating thing.
Yeah, I mean, these Bama trolls in here and whatever, they're the biggest crybabies that ever freaking lived, because every time that they get a flag against them that they want to complain, there's plenty of evidence out there. So whatever. Whatever with that, but yeah, I mean, I'm not blaming the referees for it. Tennessee had an opportunity to practically put the game away in the first half, and they couldn't do it because they couldn't pick up short yardage, and they couldn't score in the red zone. And then they come out in the third quarter again, and in 2 plays, Bama scores. I mean, you just can't let that happen. You cannot let a team that has the talent and the coaching that Alabama has gain the momentum like that. Make them drive the field and beat you, because I'm not convinced that Milroe could do that on a consistent basis, but we didn't give him a chance, and then Heupel kept going for it on fourth down in his own territory, so it's practically that we're turning the football over on the opposite, and giving them a short field. So
they didn't score except for one drive more than 50 yards, and that's it.
Yeah. You're not going to beat Alabama or any team of that caliber doing that. You're just not. So, that's where Heupel's going to have to get better.
Well, like let me play devil's advocate with the SEC bias, the conference bias. Right now, obviously the SEC wants Georgia and Alabama in an SEC championship because that's their 2 top dogs to get 2 teams in the playoff, right? That's what it's all about, is getting 2 teams into the college football playoff and making money. So if we're talking about SEC bias, because you said, I saw you put in the chat, I'm not talking about Bama bias. If Tennessee crosses the hump, look, a lot of people in this fan base are pissed right now.
Getting the breaks.
The reason they're pissed is because we all expected to go down there and beat Alabama. The days of, let's just keep it within 3 scores. Let's keep it competitive. All that nonsense is gone because Josh Heupel has turned this thing around, and that's what kind of blows my mind here is so many people are ready to flush the season down the toilet. It's over. Nothing left to play for. If you remember, when we go back to the beginning of the year, we're talking about 9-3. That's where most of the predictions are at, and here we are sitting with 2 losses. You got to beat Kentucky on the road, Missouri on the road, and then you got Alabama coming to Neyland Stadium. This team has a very good opportunity to go win 9 or 10. Yeah, I said 10. Damn it, I said 10 wins. They have an opportunity to go win 10 games. The season's not over. So, X, what do you say about that to these people that are done? They say the season's over. There's nothing left to play for. Put in Nico. The season's over. Let's get ready for 2024.
No, because you can't put in Nico just now because and it's actually pretty funny because like what JD Bikel said, kind of after that game, I was kind of, watching his video and collecting his thoughts about it. And he's right about this. When you put in Nico after that loss, it shows weakness. It shows that shows you're giving up on the season. Oh, we can't do it with Joe. Just throw in Nico. Let's see if he can save us, if he can save our season. This is and that. You can't do that because we all have to keep in mind that yes, Nico is sitting underneath the learning tree. He needs to soak in all this offensive knowledge in order for him to come into next season and do what he needs to do that we think what he's going to do for us next season. But yeah, we can't just throw him out there to the wolves and expect him to save our season just because that Joe is playing bad or whatever the case may be, or the play call might be bad. We can't just do that. So no, like the season is definitely not over now. You still got to play for 9-3. You have to. Now you definitely have to go beat Kentucky because if you don't, then we're definitely looking at possibly maybe an 8-4 like we predicted from the very beginning. So, but no, man, you don't throw out Nico. You just gotta just do better, man. Like I said, just go down to Kentucky and just beat the brakes off of them. Like I said, let all that anger and frustration out on Kentucky. Let them know that we are their daddy, and let's continue to fight for 9-3. And like you said, Book, possibly 10 wins. That is the mindset right now.
Let's talk about Joe Milton. Let's talk about Joe Milton because I think the four of us, we're all sitting here talking Tennessee football. We're bought in. We're dialed in. I told the story the other day, JP. I don't remember what year it was. I don't even think Tennessee was possible to get bowl eligible. But for whatever reason, Charter was not showing the Tennessee Vanderbilt game. And your woman's on the phone with my woman. You're on the phone with Charter. You're screaming. You're cussing. I'm irate. Look, boys, we got something to play for. Like, stop. Just stop. Do you want to rewind? Do you want to go back to Jeremy Pruitt days and go win 3 games? Look, I think we all know there's something left to play for. But, Matt, let's talk about Joe Milton. I think Joe Milton had maybe one of his best games of the year. I think the key moving forward, if you're going to go beat Kentucky, you're going to go beat Missouri, you want to compete with Georgia, you got to get Joe going on the ground. But he played good, completed his first 9 passes until the drop by Thornton that you mentioned. I thought Joe played good football on Saturday.
I agree with you. I think it's probably the best game we've seen Joe play, honestly, in a week where you only have a week to prepare. We saw him play a pretty good game against Clemson, but that was a long time to prepare. I think Joe played a tremendous game, especially in the first half. He should have been 10 for 10, when first and down on the 3-yard line. But his ability to run the football, I think, is going to be what separates us from a 10-2 season to an 8-4 season, realistically, because we saw it finally where he kept the ball again on a read option, right, and got a first down. We saw them run the speed option twice. One, he kind of got timid, as X said earlier, and kind of shoveled it backwards, telling Small to get the hit. But the first play of the game, he comes out and runs over the defensive back, and you knew that was the Joe you want. He's never going to be the most accurate quarterback. We know that. That's not Joe Milton, right? He's going to make bad throws. He's also going to fit balls in windows that most quarterbacks can't do. What I do believe, though, is that we need somebody else other than Squirrel to step up. I mean, Ramel made one great catch in the first half where he goes up and he's got the hand there, he splits it and catches it. But we haven't seen anybody help him. And that's the thing. I mean, Joe's not going to go out and single-handedly win you a football game. He's not Hendon, right? He's just not going to. But he's going to help you win football games more than he'll hurt you. I do believe that, right? Even after the 100-yard performance against Texas A&M. But he came out and he played well. You can't really blame the second half on Joe because he never had the football. I mean, they go out and score. We get the fair catch signal. It's 3 and out. We go for it on 4 plays in the second drive. You look up and it's 27-20. We get a first down on 1 play, and then it's a strip sack for a touchdown because the left tackle completely blew his assignment. So it's 27-20, and Joe has had 5 offensive snaps or 6 offensive snaps. You can't ask a quarterback to do anything in that instance. Guys, I don't see Joe as our problem, but I definitely see the ability to get better. I mean, he's gotten better and better and better and better. The thing I think we have not seen the offense play their best game and the defense play their best game together. Because when that happens, I don't know if anybody can beat Tennessee. But the consistency of those two is not played well. The defense from Texas A&M and the offense from the first half of Alabama, that's the team that we think could have went, all the way. But it's just not been consistent enough.
No, that's great points, Matt. And you know the things about Joe that I think that we need to see is, can he be consistent on a weekly basis? You know, we can't have this roller coaster, right? Because he looked horrible against Texas A&M, and then I think probably Saturday against Alabama was probably the best game that he'd ever had at Tennessee, even considering the Orange Bowl. Considering who he was going up against and so forth like that, and some of those throws, and especially with his legs. So that's the thing. Can he do that on a consistent basis? And I definitely think that Tennessee is going to try to keep him involved in the running game. I'm not sure why that we didn't do that to start out the season or whatnot, but it's obvious from the second half on, from the Texas A&M game and then Saturday, that Tennessee feels like that he is going to have to run. So with that, and then as a team, they just got to figure out a way to play four quarters. I mean, whatever it is that's causing them to go in a funk for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever. I mean, you just can't beat teams in the SEC like that. It's just not going to happen. It's going to come back and it's going to bite you. And, if you really want to sit down and look at it, this team could possibly be undefeated right now if it wasn't for a crappy second quarter against Florida and a crappy third quarter against Alabama. Possibly, but it is what it is. And this team does have to refocus, and because if you look at everything going into this Saturday's game against Kentucky, Kentucky's lost two in a row. You would think that they're desperate. They always get up for Tennessee. That's their biggest rival. It's a night game. They're coming off of a bye. Tennessee's coming off two really, really tough ball games. One that they let get away in the second half, a big letdown. All of the opportunity is there for Tennessee to go lay an egg Saturday, and let's hope that doesn't happen, right?
Let me hit some super chats real quick, and then we're going to get back into it. And I'm going to let the chat decide what direction we go. Let me know in the chat right now. Do you want to continue to talk about Tennessee's inconsistencies? The second quarter that JP mentioned against Florida, the third quarter against Alabama, or do you want to put your tinfoil hats on and talk about sign stealing, South Carolina losses, and all that nonsense? I'm going to let you guys decide. People asked me today, Boogie, why didn't you make a video on this? Because I would much rather talk about Joe Milton and Tennessee playing Kentucky. But if you guys in the chat want to talk about tinfoil hat conspiracies, we'll do it right here on the Talkin Vols Network. Let's get caught up on super chats. Wade Rouse for 5 says, Boogie, how do we not have the Talkin Vols tattoo in the intro? Got to make it happen. LOL, go Vols. Let's whoop some kittens this weekend. He says Tennessee 34, Kentucky 17. Appreciate the super chat, Wade. We do got to get that Talkin Vols tattoo in the intro somehow. Also drops another $2. Says I want to see this team play pissed this weekend. I kind of wonder if that's part of what's going on with Joe Milton. What happened? JP, you specifically mentioned the halftime at the Texas A&M game. Like I've talked about it the last week. I've talked about it with Eric Kane on his show when he's on our show. Talked about it with Coach Jay. Every time we're live, I bring up what happened in that locker room halftime at Texas A&M, because Joe came out a different guy. He came out a different guy. Adam Huckabee been a member for 11 months. Appreciate that. Says we're Kentucky's daddy. We sell a T-shirt that says we're Kentucky's daddy. You want to buy that, bonfire.com/store/talkinvols. Adrian Wells been a member for 7 months. Appreciate that, Adrian. David Long drops a $2 super chat. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate that, David. Austin for 2 says someone actually asked about the Tush Push Monday. Yeah, we were talking about that right before we went live. They asked Josh Heupel, and he immediately insulted the woman. He said, "Oh, where'd you hear that? I see you're reading it. You're reading it off a piece of paper. Where'd you hear that?" And so it's like, why are you calling it the Tush Push? Can we please, and Coach Rice, I know you're in the chat, can we please just call it a quarterback sneak? I'm tired of hearing Coach Rice say the words tush push on this channel. We gotta clean that up and give a good 63 effort. But his response was comical. He said, "Oh, we've gone under center. Some we go out of shotgun. No, you went under center once and you converted it one time and it worked." But again, JP, you mentioned why, or I don't remember if it was JP or Matt mentioned Joe running. Why has he not been running the football? The rib injury. When did that happen? Because we did not hear about it. You know, we see the knee injury, and we're talking about the knee injury, and then all of a sudden VolQuest says, oh, he's been battling sore ribs for a while. Was that from the quarterback sneak? Did that happen on the quarterback sneak? And they said, we can't risk putting Joe under center again? Again, let's put on our tinfoil hats tonight. That was kind of my thought process. Did he get banged up on the quarterback sneak? Just bruised ribs, sore ribs, whatever the case may be. I don't know. Coach Rice for 2. What's up, Coach? Says got tons to play for. 10-3 with a bowl win. GBO. Timothy McGee drops a $5 super chat. Says, hey, the bag is out. They need to go under center more. Gives RB a running edge. Yeah, I mean, you go out a shotgun on 4th and 1, and then, again, I can't remember who said what, JP or Matt. Somebody talked about the bunch formation. That's even worse. Like, it's bad enough you're going out a shotgun, but then you do this little bunch formation. You don't bring in any big uglies. That I would get it if you're like, okay, let's bring in the 300-pound dudes. No, you're still bringing in your wide receivers, just bringing everybody closer to the box. You got a running back standing back there flat-footed. You snap the ball and hand it to him, and he gets killed. Stupid. It's stupid. We're all in agreement. But, look, Josh Heupel gets paid millions of dollars to make these decisions. Isaac says make a poll.
And all it takes is one guy to get penetration through the line of scrimmage, and you're dead in the water. I mean, that's all it takes. And that seems to be what's happening. You know, somebody is not getting their block, and we can be all in agree. If that was Alabama, Nick Saban's going to go under center. Yeah,
I mean, hands down.
They don't have 6'5", 245 either to go under center. He falls forward. I mean, get your legs underneath you, fall forward, it's first down. You don't even need the push.
Yeah, that's what I say too, Matt.
The offensive lineman is sitting right in front of you. Follow Cooper whichever way he goes and get underneath him and get the first down. I think the first one they went to was trying to do that Omaha pass. So I think it's what it's called. And you saw Jacob Warren there looking for it. He went to block. But I still think that was a first down that they didn't give him. But the second one, we said that in the pregame. You do that, but then you're handing the ball to Dylan Sampson. I mean, I love Sampson, but he's a scat back. He's not a guy that you're going to pound up the middle, and they're not going to sub. But if you're going to go for it on fourth down, why not sub and get your guys in there? I mean, what's the purpose of going for it with the wrong run fit on offense? Go for it with the right run fit. Bring your dudes in. If they know you're going to go, then go.
I almost thought, though, one of the reasons why that Jalen Wright struggled running the football Saturday is because that he's become a really, really patient runner, and he kind of just waits until that hole opens, and Alabama wasn't allowing that to happen. So
right.
I would almost rather him, hit the hole wherever that hole is supposed to be, and try to pick up 2, 3, 4 yards instead of kind of being patient and waiting, because then our offensive line is just it's not as good as it was last year, and we all knew that going into this season. We knew it would be, and that's why that Tennessee's had so much success running the football out wide. They spread the defense out, and then when they've got numbers, when it's 5-on-5 or 6-on-6, then they can make something happen. But like Boogie was saying, when they bring everybody down, it's just crowding the box, and then we just don't have the guys to get that push that's needed. Especially lining up in shotgun, and when you need 6 inches, you end up saying, well, I got to have 5 now, right? Because I'm standing back there flat-footed 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I think that's why Jabari Small's so good at finding that hole. And like I said, then once he sees it, like he's gone. He's more, like I said, just real explosive with it. Like you said with Jalen Wright, he's just more patient, and then he goes for it.
Yeah.
I'm laughing right now. Breaking news, and I'm DMing Nelson right now, and I'll just tell you what I'm saying. You sent me the wrong damn kid That's what I'm telling Nelson. When he told me that we were getting a commit tonight, I'm like, who is it? And he sends me the link, and I'm like, I don't see anything about that. Nelson, you sent me the wrong guy, bro. You sent me the wrong guy. Tennessee just got a commit from 3-star, 4-star running back, depending on where you look, Justin Baker out of Buford, Georgia. Let me see if I can – I doubt.
So he doesn't go to IMG?
No.
Okay.
Nelson sent me the wrong guy.
No, he's a Buford kid. I just saw him play on TV last week.
Says he also runs track in 2023, posted times of 11:10, 11:15, 11:19 in the 100-meter dash, along with a 22.8 in the 200-meter. As a sophomore, worked behind Alabama signee Justice Haynes, carried the ball 62 times for 371 yards and 3 touchdowns, helping Buford go to 11-1 and make the second round of Georgia's 17,000 A's. Am I going to count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 A playoffs. 2021, participated in the FBU Freshman All-American Bowl after getting varsity snaps for Buford. So what do you think if you saw him, Matt? I know you're down there in Georgia. I don't know how much you know this kid, but if you saw him on TV, what's he look like? He's
fast, man. He hits the hole. I mean, he great offer list, right? I wonder what this realistically, if he's coming down to Tennessee and Michigan, what this news and tenfold news with Michigan has to do with their recruiting coming up. It's going to be very interesting to see. But dude, that program is like watching, a small Division I team play in every position. So when they're not playing somebody that fits them, in the 7A class, they just absolutely run all over top of you. But he kind of splits carries with another guy. I can't remember his name. But he hits the hole hard and he runs. He's going to be a good pickup. I mean, he's interesting enough. He's not very big. So what kind of size and what kind of role does he fit? Is he kind of the same role that we see now with Samson? Is kind of what I'm thinking. But overall,
he's listed at 5'9", 200 pounds.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's thick, but he's not very. Not a big dude. So, but he can move. I mean, that's going to be fun to see him. Progress. And I like to go watch those guys on Fridays if I'm not working. So I'm going to do my best to go see him play. Now he's a commit.
We're going to watch these random dudes and girls work out here with their Fitbits for another 7 seconds. And then we'll just play some of his tape. Hey, look, breaking news, right? It's breaking while we're live on air. Why not take a look at it? Let's see. Let's do this. Boom. There we go.
I was going to say, can you expand that, Boogie?
Man, he is small.
Yeah.
Small,
he looks really compact, though. I mean,
yeah.
Looks like he's got, from what I can see there, looks like he's got like tree trunks for legs almost.
Yeah.
He's the next Barry Sanders. You heard it here first.
he even wears his number.
Yeah. Next Barry Sanders.
He breaks some tackles. That's what I saw last week too. I think he's hard to take down if you hit him low. Because he is solid, but he hits that hole hard and he's fast, man. He'll outrun you if you don't get the angle on him.
So you said, Matt, that he plays in 7A down there in Georgia?
Yeah, 7A. Wow. Yeah, that's the highest classification here in Georgia.
Yeah, so I mean, he's playing against some talent then for sure.
Buford is the program, as they say down here. I mean, they are a ridiculous program here with multiple, not just in football, but every sport. Division I players lined up to go play. In fact, you just had a Buford High School graduate playing for the Phillies last night in the NLCS. I mean, that's so they're a program that puts out lots and lots of talent.
You got to think too. You're playing 7A ball, and this kid's this is a sophomore tape, right? I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Look
at his speed.
Look at his guts, man. I like what I'm seeing. Look, what we've seen so far from this coaching staff, evaluation's been on point. It has been on point. So,
Watch
and again, yeah, I love, dude. Boo Carter says big dog status. Woof woof. I can't because I've got the highlights pulled up. I was gonna look at.
Yeah, I like
he's a 3-star on 247 Rivals. Rivals is the only one that had him as a 4-star.
Yeah. Welcome to Rocky Top, brother.
All right, we're not going to go too far into that. We cover recruiting in the offseason. Going to continue to cover recruiting for this class of 24. I really don't jump into the class of 25 until usually January is when I start digging into that. Me and Coach Jay going to jump right back into the film breakdowns. Going to do some live film breakdowns. Going to try to do some live recruiting streams. That's going to be something different we do next year. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. Did we get Timothy? No, Timothy McGee drops a $5 super chat. The freshman running back is ready. 225 pounds, according to Coach Mack. Is he talking about Cam Seldon, I would imagine? Next year, that running back room's good.
Who's the other guy?
Khalifa Keith.
Keith, yeah. Keith Kidd, yeah.
I think he's bigger than 225, isn't he?
He's huge.
Yeah, he's a monster.
You think that he can pick up 6 inches or a yard?
Joe can pick up 6 inches or a yard.
Yeah.
If 6'4", 240 can't, I don't know if anybody can.
If he's not too timid.
Oh, my gosh. Throw a dart at the dartboard. I'm happy with how Joe ran on Saturday, man. I am. Donovan for 10. With us being 3 and 13 on fourth downs, I would start using Jackson Ross more. He is such a weapon. JP, who do we play in Atlanta, LSU or Bama? Man, look at the confidence in Donovan. Man, they're taking shots. X, I told you before we went live, this is my fault. I've created this storm for you, and now you have to answer to the masses.
I'll answer it gladly.
He said, X Factor, why did you turn the game off? Let's start with JP. Who we playing if Tennessee gets to Atlanta? They playing LSU or Alabama?
If Tennessee makes it to Atlanta, I'm going to say they'd have a rematch with the Crimson Tide.
All right, X, why did you turn the game off on Saturday?
All righty. So, obviously, there was a major difference between last year's game when we had Hendon Hooker and this explosive offense playing against Alabama at home, right? And listen, we all loved Hendon. Well, I said, look, we all root for the kid for Heisman. We all love him. I say he's a Vol for legend. All right, going to this game. I love Joe. I really, really do. And we said it a million thousand times. We all want the kid to succeed. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that, like I said, this game is almost close to being over with Alabama scoring the way they are, and you're trotting Joe Milton out here to try to make us a play, and I mean, and honestly, it's not his fault that he got sacked. Like we said, Matt said earlier, the left tackle blew his assignment, so there was the sack. So, and then I said, there was the sack, picked up the fumble, Alabama scores. After that, I said, nah, I'm good. I'm just good. Because, listen, I already knew that it was game. Not just because it was Joe's fault or none of that. I just knew it was just game. Because also with the ref conversation and everything going on, I was just like, yeah, I said, it's over. It's over. But listen, I'm not one of these Vol fans that's going to sit there and be like, oh, well, the season's just all the way over. Like, no, guys, like what we said at the beginning of the show. You can still go out, play for 9-3, possibly 10 wins, and let's just move forward.
This is my fault, X. This is all my fault. I've turned the entire chat against you. The entire chat is turned against the X Factor. We're going to have to give a good 63 effort and get back to business as usual. Wayne Starnes for 5. Appreciate that, brother. Buford is a Georgia football powerhouse, nationally ranked, but lost versus Mill Creek. But their talent was evident. Go Vols. Yeah, we'll see, man. It's fun. You get these early commitments, man. And what is that, the third? The third commit, they got 2 defensive backs and a running back in that class of 25. That's a good foundation, right? You want that foundation to start building for that class. But I'm excited to see how they finish out this class of 24 as well. Timothy drops a $5 super chat. Hate shotgun, short yardage, and in the 10-yardage line, go under center. We're all clearly in agreement, Timothy. Thank you for the super chat. MG Way for 5. We can win on the road if we can convert first downs and not turn over the ball. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think we're going to be able to force turnovers. That's something we'll get into here in just a second with our predictions. Donovan for 5, just aggravating you. X, this is for you. He'll never see it, Donovan.
I was going to say, but you got to make sure you pay him that $5.
Okay,
I'm still waiting on all them that night. People put in there that it was for JP.
I've got it in an envelope.
I bet you do.
Back here behind me, just for you. All right, let's transition this thing. Man, I still don't know. JP, I'll let you know. You never come hang out with me anymore. You always make up an excuse. It's always me and Matt and the X Factor and Coach Rice, Coach Jay. Dauber shows up occasionally. I mean, if he's not going to a bourbon festival or a concert or God knows what, he shows up and hangs out. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to go ahead and get into Kentucky, or do you want to talk about tinfoil hat conspiracy theories? I will let you decide.
if you're going to talk about the Michigan stuff, I haven't had a chance to read up on any of that. I just saw the headlines of it, so I have no clue what all has went on with that. So personally, I'd rather talk about Kentucky.
Well, I'm glad you said that. So let's get into it and talk about the conspiracy theory going on. I'm totally kidding. I honestly haven't looked at it either. Look,
I don't know anything about it.
We'll summarize it in 2 seconds. Basically, Michigan was allegedly buying tickets, right? They were buying tickets to go scout opponents, which you can't do. You can't go in person and scout. And the guy that they hired, let me scroll down here from this article. Let's see, a retired United States Marine Corps captain who specialized in stealing enemies' hand signals and signage is who they hired to go. And he was at the Tennessee games last year because they were afraid that they were going to play Tennessee in the postseason. Michigan thought that Tennessee was going to be in the college football playoff. That's why they were scouting the signs. And then this is where it gets crazy. The tinfoil hat conspiracies say that Michigan didn't want to play Tennessee so badly that they gave that information to South Carolina. So I'm glad that you chose not to go down the tinfoil, because I know what YouTubers are going to do. And look, I'm a YouTuber. YouTube pays my bills, and I love this platform. But I know people are going to make clickbait videos that say, this is why we lost, and it's going to get 15,000 views. Meanwhile, I'm going to talk about Joe Milton and get 4,000 views. It is what it is. So I'm glad you chose what you chose. That conversation's over. Let's talk about the Kentucky game coming up on Saturday. Big opportunity for Tennessee, right? If you're going to get to 10 wins, whatever, 9 wins, you still got to go beat Kentucky coming up on Saturday. Let me take a look at the notes here. Where are my notes? Here they are. Tennessee, we're Kentucky's daddy, first of all, right? I mean, let's start with this. We'll start with Matt. What does the Tennessee-Kentucky rivalry mean to you? The battle for the beer barrel. Bring back the beer barrel first and foremost. But do you consider Kentucky a rival? Like, so many people say we are to Kentucky what Florida is to us. And you're close to my age. How old are you? You're probably a little bit younger than me. We're close.
38.
Yeah, you're a little bit younger than me. What is this? Is it a rivalry? What do you think of when you think Tennessee-Kentucky?
Well, first off, my dad graduated from the University of Kentucky, and my uncle works at the University of Kentucky. So it means a lot personally. My dad's not a Kentucky football fan by any means. He's just not really a football fan at all. But it means a lot because those are the games I used to go to growing up every single year because of the ticket, situation with alumni. So I've been going to that game, whether it's been what was formerly not Kroger Field at Kentucky or in Knoxville since I was a little kid. And if I show you the background of the phone right now, this is what it means to me. It's hard to see it, but
I feel like I've got Dauber on right now. Oh, you got the beer barrel. I see it.
The beer barrel. Hayden holding the beer barrel, right? That was the beer barrel rivalry. Growing up, we've always been Kentucky's daddy from the time I was a little kid until 2010, and then 5 more, right after that in a row. But I think we all have the hesitancy to say we're going to go there and whip their butt because of our struggles on the road. But if you look at this game, I would much rather be playing Kentucky this week than I would Missouri coming off of a loss to Alabama, because I think you match up better with Kentucky from a scheme personality, from what Tennessee does well, what Kentucky doesn't do well, what Kentucky does well, and what Tennessee does well.
Yeah.
And I want to comment real quick on that comment from about our punter. I think it's time for this coaching staff to understand and to really appreciate the fact that their best part of this whole entire football team is that defense. Rely on it. And we almost gave it away in the first half, a miraculous interception that saved us, on the 34-yard line, and we weren't so lucky the second half. But he's been amazing. A 71-yard punt. I think he averaged 53 yards on a punt, a school record against Alabama with Ross. The one where he switches legs and goes they're on the punt block and they think he's going right, so he goes left. I mean, he's an absolute weapon. And the best part of our team is this defense. So I think it's time to realize that let the defense play. Alabama had one drive of over 40 yards to score. And we put it in their hands. So that's my comment there. But this game, it means a lot because there's a lot of bragging rights in a group chat that's going to come about here in about 4 days. Both my cousins graduated from there, and we've been Tennessee fans since inception, and they're Blue fans. So.
God, the Alabama game, we just keep talking about it. And you said it earlier, Matt, you can't let Alabama beat you twice. We're not players, we're not coaches, so it doesn't matter. But dang it, man, it's the little decisions that were made in that game that are so frustrating. And I've griped about officiating as much as anybody, but it's a little bit of officiating, a little bit of not capitalizing in the red zone, a little bit of stupidity from our coaching staff. And look, hindsight's always 20/20, right? Josh Heupel goes for it and converts it. We're talking about how he's got big balls and he does this and does that and he plays aggressive, right? We're celebrating it, but they didn't convert. But when you look at what you're doing in the course of the season, the course of the ball game, punt the football and play defense, man. Punt the football and play defense every time. Let me hit some super chats real quick. Papa J for 5 says you have to turn off the game before you can turn it on. That's wise words from Papa J. I love this freaking I love the fact that the chat hates you all as much as they hate me. I mean, they insult me on a regular basis. Now they're insulting you all too. So I love it.
Well, it's okay. I feel the love.
Yeah, if they didn't like you, actually, they wouldn't say anything if they didn't like you. So maybe they don't like you like they don't like me, X. It's okay. It's okay. Donovan for 2. Of course, Chris Paul ain't here tonight, Boogie. I don't know what Dauber's doing. I think he had a work thing going on. James Fair for 5. What do you think about giving coaches 2 challenges for called or non-called penalties? We go to the booth for Tardy and do the same for 4 penalties. I don't think it's ever going to happen. We talked about this. When did we talk? Did we talk about this post-game show? Maybe post-game show, like subjective calls, right? You're not going to go to the replay booth for pass interference. You're not going to go to replay booth for holding. They're never going to do it. You're never going to take a subjective call like that. And I know targeting kind of is a subjective call as well. I just don't see it. The kids in the house, what's up, Elijah? $5 super chat. They say once a Marine, always a Marine, but the captain who cheated is no longer a Marine to me. Holy smokes, those are harsh words. Elijah Matthew Watson for 2 says we own Kentucky. Well, we are their daddy. We sell a T-shirt that says that we are their daddy. You can go pick it up, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Link is in the description below. We talk about road atmosphere, right? You got to go on the road, play Kentucky, 7 p.m. kickoff. Kentucky coming off of a bye week. It's an interesting deal to me. Looking at the numbers this week, Stoops' first 10 seasons at Kentucky, 5-7. Coming off of a bye. You say, Boogie, that doesn't make sense. That's 12 games. Well, they had 2 bye weeks in 2013, 2014. Mark Stoops is 5-7 coming off of the bye. But you also got to look at, JP, they're not only coming off of a bye, they're trying to rebound from 2 losses. A blowout loss to Georgia, 51-13. They also lost to Missouri, 38-21. How do they respond to that? Do you think home field advantage is going to play into this? And I know, look, going into the Alabama game, we talked all the numbers, how much Tennessee struggled on the road. You lost to Florida. You lost to Alabama on the road. You lost to Georgia, South Carolina on the road last year. Tennessee struggled on the road. I don't really think the Alabama game, I don't think they were impacted by that. Had a couple of late ones on Dane Davis. No. Overall, I don't think the road impacted them. Do you think it's going to be a problem this weekend, or do you have some confidence going up there? Look, we're their daddy.
I don't think it's going to be anything like Swamp was, or anything like it was last year at Georgia and all the issues that we had down there. The key to it could be that Tennessee needs to try to get out to a quick start. They can't let this Kentucky team hang around and get the momentum and the crowd get into it and those types of things. And like Matt was saying earlier, I mean, I agree. I think Tennessee matches up well against what Kentucky likes to do. But again, what happened with the Florida game? Why did Florida run all over us, especially in the first half? So we just can't do that. I mean, this team has to be more consistent, and we can't let Bama beat us twice. And this team is going to have to rebound. I mean, it's already Wednesday, and yes, we spent, the last 30 plus minutes talking about Bama. Let's hope that the football team isn't, right? Let's hope that they've already flushed that, and that they've seen what they did wrong and what they need to correct, and put all of their attention towards Kentucky. I mean, I fully expect it to be a tough game, especially a night game up there in Lexington. Kentucky will come ready to play. I'll be shocked if they're not. So Tennessee better be ready to match the intensity for sure.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Just come be ready to play, man. Because like I said, it's obviously been shown that we struggle on the road. Like this is your opportunity to just change that momentum, and you're gonna have to change that momentum if we're gonna make it to 9-3 or 10 wins possibly.
Yeah,
So
and really, that's all that us Tennessee fans at this point in time that we can ask for is get us to that darn game against Georgia at home with only
shot.
with only 2 losses, with an opportunity to beat, which will probably be still the number 1 ranked team in the nation. And then, if you can find a way to do that, then this fan base and the disaster that happened at Florida and the disaster of the second half Saturday, that's going to be overlooked tremendously, by a lot more people than it is now. So, but you got to take one play, one quarter, one game at a time, and you can't be overlooking all this stuff because it's that game against Missouri. That's going to be a tough football game. It's going to be
I
tough.
think it's tougher than the Kentucky game.
I mean, possibly so. Yeah. I mean,
Well, they just went into Kentucky and spanked them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons they're going to be pissed off coming in to play us is because they just got their butt whipped at home by Missouri.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think with this Kentucky game, Ray Davis, the former Vandy guy, right, has been their offense. Devin Leary has struggled. I mean, you think Joe struggled? Go look at Devin Leary's stats. They're worse, right? And
Everywhere.
In every single category, they are worse. Right. And I think, you look at how we line up against the run, it's hard to run the football up the middle against Tennessee. Right. And if you look at the second half of what Alabama did, they didn't run up the middle. They got outside. They pulled that fullback over, pulled that split end over and hit the outside release and got outside to run the football. But that's not really Ray Davis's game. Go watch that Florida game and see what he does. He pounds power left, power right, power left, power right, breaks a tackle and gets 12. Right. I don't think he's going to run like that against Tennessee's front. That's been the best part of our game the entire year. I do believe this game is going to be close. We'll go in predictions later, but I think it's going to come down to the difference in what Joe does and what Devin Leary does. Whoever plays better, I think whoever plays better is going to win that football game because I think the recipe now, if you're Kentucky, is out. Make Joe beat you. Right, try to stop the run. I know it's hard to do against Tennessee, but Bama just did it, so you got tape on it now. Try to stop the run and make Joe beat you. And for us, it's make Leary beat you. Right, do not let the run game do anything. And I just don't know if Kentucky can never develop a quarterback. They get overall the number 1 transfer portal QB arguably, and he's awful. They had supposedly the number 1 pick last year, and he was awful in his senior year. Getting ready to start for the Titans this weekend.
don't remind me. Don't remind me.
Alex, that was for you. But I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think that Joe's going to have to go out and play. He doesn't have to win the football game, but he can't lose you the football game, right? And both teams are similar in how they play. Except I think I saw the comment, we're a little bit more than less than one-dimensional. Kentucky's one-dimensional. If you can stop Ray Davis, you can beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting matchup, too. And, you spoiler alert, you spoiled my entire appearance on Locked On Vols for Friday. This is exactly what I talked about with Kaner. I probably didn't do it justice because I almost compared it to the last couple of weeks where it's going to come down to, Joe Milton versus Devin Leary. Who's going to go make a play? I think Tennessee's going to have success running the football. I think they're going to be able to run it against Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky's going to be able to stop them. But if they did and it came down to the passing game, I like Joe Milton way better than I like Devin Leary. Devin Leary, the number one stat that sticks out to me, well, two stats stick out to me. Number one, he leads the SEC in interceptions. He's thrown 7 interceptions. We got a guy named James Pierce that is wrecking shop, and if he doesn't get home, he impacts plays, and that will force Devin Leary into making mistakes. Also, too, the biggest key to me, like when I put out the video earlier today that said free Joe Milton, it ain't about throwing the football. Spoiler alert, it ain't about throwing the football. It's about using those legs. Joe Milton, 232 rushing yards, averaging almost 5 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns on the ground. Devin Leary, negative 45 rushing yards. I think it's going to come down to quarterback play, and I think Joe Milton beats out Devin Leary. But JP, can they stop Ray Davis? I mean, you're talking about a guy, Kentucky struggles to throw the football. Matt said it. They're one-dimensional. They struggle throwing the football. 13th in the SEC in passing offense. But Ray Davis, big win over Florida. You can't take that away from Kentucky. That's a big win for their program. Ray Davis put them on their back, 280 yards on the ground, over 10 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. Devin Leary in that game threw for 69 yards. I don't think they can do that against Tennessee. Ray Davis, second in the SEC in rushing yards. He leads the SEC at 7.04 yards per carry. What do you think about this matchup, Kentucky ground game versus the Tennessee defense?
I mean, certainly that's been, the strong point with this defense has been the not giving up the huge rush and playing the defense or the run very, very, very well. But again, I keep going back to it that they have to be consistent with it. They can't give up the 75-yard touchdown run like they did against South Carolina. They can't give up the 60-yard touchdown run like they did against Florida. They can't give up the 35 or 40-yard run that they did Saturday, starting out second half. That's the thing with it. They have got to continue to make sure, and yes, I mean, things are going to happen, and there's somebody that's going to, break off a run here and there, and stuff like that. But they can't give up those big runs. But to me, Boogie, that all comes down to the intensity and the focus. Because I think that Tennessee has probably really, really good talent on the defensive side of the ball, especially in that front seven, especially on the line. So but they've got to be consistent with it, and they can't come in and do the same thing that they did against Florida, or Ray Davis will run for 280 against them. So I mean, he's a heck of a running back, but you've got to shut down him and certainly make Leary try to beat you for sure.
And you definitely got to capitalize in the red zone too.
Oh,
That's been our biggest problem too, because like we just said, James Pierce, that man is him. I'm so excited for the future for that young man. He is him. But because just like the strip fumble that we had from him, and you go down to the red zone and you can't capitalize, and we settle for a field goal. We all know field goals lose you games, touchdowns win you championships. So we got to find some kind of way to put either like a package deal or just to use our tight end or something to score into the red zone, because we're really good at running the ball, like saying downhill, but when it comes to the red zone, it's like we just freeze up, and then it also slows down the tempo of our offense as well. So you got to find some way to capitalize on that.
Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. We're going to go ahead and jump into our predictions. Coach Rice for $2 says, heard it from me first. 37-13 Tennessee on Saturday. I don't know what that emoji means, but he's sending a message to Kentucky. Thank you, Coach Rice. Appreciate the super chat. Speaking of, Coach Rice is in here hanging out in the chat. Matt's on here doing a little work. X is always here. JP, when I put up the bat signal, he shows up. Where's Seth? Seth has the post game on Saturday, but he's too good to be here on Wednesday night stream. Seth, you want me to fire you? Do I just need to bring Matt in to do the post game show? What are you guys doing? It's you give him a little power. You give him a little power. You bring him on for a post game show, and all of a sudden, I'm too good to hang out in the chat. Where's Coach Jay tonight? Boogie, call me when you need a breakdown. I'm not going to hang out in the chat. I'm too good for that. Those are jokes, guys. Those are jokes. Dustin Sellers at 10. No doubt we will get Kentucky's best shot. Have to keep the same mentality we had at the start of the last week. Execution is key. Got to get better at halftime adjustments. Man, I don't want this to derail me, but I'm not going to let it. You know, somebody said in one of the live streams this week talking about halftime adjustments, we didn't make adjustments. They did. I said, okay, everybody in the chat right now, everybody watching right now, you tell me the adjustments that Alabama made and the adjustments that we should have made. Crickets. Nobody's talking about adjustments. It's a buzzword. It's what fans say. We didn't make adjustments. It's an excuse. It's an out. If you see adjustments, I want to hear the adjustments. Don't just use the buzzword. Well, they made adjustments. We didn't. I heard it on SEC Nation. That's what they said. If you see adjustments,
go to the short field. That's my adjustment.
And the only adjustment is just the refs. That's the only adjustment I've seen.
Imagine Heupel walking in at halftime. Guys, this is the adjustment we're going to make coming out in the second half. I'm going to make a better decision. We're going to punt the damn football. That's all the adjustments. Let's go back out and let's go play some football, and that's it. Guys, we got 217 people watching live. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this Wednesday night stream. You guys are awesome. I want to ask you to do one thing and one thing only, maybe a couple of things. Smash the thumbs up. It's quick, free, and easy. It helps the channel. You can also hit the share button down below. You can put it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you get social with your media. We would appreciate that. Word of mouth, man. Tell somebody about Talkin Vols. We're on this grind. We are on the grind to 25,000 subscribers. I really want to hit 25,000 by the end of the year. I think we can do it. We're about 1,500 away. Help us out. Let somebody know. Also, you can check out the merch, bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. That link is in the description below as well. Go check it out. It's the perfect time to pick up a Kentucky's Daddy shirt, or you can pick up a Fuga shirt. Get ready for that Tennessee-Georgia game. Buy your FUGA merchandise now. We've also got more PG-13 shirts. Whatever it is you like, go check it out. Different styles, color schemes, whatever you want, we've got it. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. Also want to give a shout out to the members of the channel. I do it every video. I do it every live stream, and I do it for a reason, because you guys are the heartbeat of this community. We could not do this show. I would not be doing Monday morning shows, Friday morning shows. A lot of the stuff that comes out is because of you guys that are members. These two dudes on the bottom of the screen, X and Matt, both came from the fan call-in shows on Sunday. You join the channel at the elite level. You come on the fan call-in shows. You win over this community. I can't say no. Give me more Matt Begley. Give me more X Factor. Give me more Coach Rice. Give me more Coach J. These guys came up through the fan call-in show. We are building a community. You guys have a voice. I hope you appreciate that. I hope you understand that. And I love Tuesday night streams, hanging out with you guys, acting a fool last night. Absolute blast. Let's get into our predictions. MG Way says it's prediction time. But I got to do something, because you know what's happened the last couple of weeks? Actually, I don't. What's it go back? 3-4 games at this point? Me and Dauber making the exact same predictions. He's not here to do any work, so I'm going to call him right now, live on air, and I'm going to put it on speakerphone. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
And we're going to see what happens.
We got you.
Hello?
What's going on?
What's happening?
Nothing. I'm sitting here live on air. You got 221 people listening to this call on speakerphone, so don't say anything about how you hate X. He might hear it because he's on the show with me, and like you know how we talk about JP and how he rambles sometimes, and he never lets us talk. Yeah, so don't say anything about that because he'll be able to hear it too. But what I wanted to get was your prediction, because you've been stealing my predictions for 3 to 4 weeks, and I couldn't let a week go by without getting your predictions. So we got a big one coming up: Tennessee, Kentucky, Saturday night, 7 o'clock on the road. I just need your quick little prediction for the game.
I think it's going to be a tough game. Tough to go on the road. Kentucky's always going to play us tough. Can Joe Milton have the success that he saw in the first half against Alabama? Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that was kind of a light bulb moment for him. I think the Big Orange are going to go into Lexington and come home with the W, whip up little brother a little bit, and I'm going to say 34-21.
You know what? You're close. But for the first time in about a month, we don't have the same prediction.
What'd you pick?
I've not said it yet. I'm going to do my prediction right now, but I'm going to let you go. We're close. We're on the same mindset. We'll catch up later. You're doing the post-game show, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, good deal, man. I'll talk to you later. I just wanted to get your thoughts and make sure that we were on the same page.
All right, brother.
All right, later, brother. Only on the Talkin VAWLS Network do you get a wait a minute. Did you all hear what I said about you guys?
No, I didn't hear you.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to do my prediction first, man. As always, Dauber says 34-21. We're 4 points apart. 4 points apart. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's looking at my notes. I've talked about this. I talked about it with Kaner earlier today. Talked about it on a couple of videos I made this week. I'm with Matt, man. I like the matchup. I think this matchup plays into Tennessee's favor. I don't know that the road environment is really going to impact Tennessee. I'm encouraged by the way they came out in the first half against Alabama. I think Joe Milton is going to be a huge part of this football game. A little bit with his arm, but a whole lot with his legs. I think he's healthy, and I think we're finally seeing what Joe can do running the football. I think Tennessee's defense, a lot of these offenses want to spread you out wide. That's what Tennessee wants to do, right? Kentucky's a little different. They want to compact everything. They're going to have some 2 tight end sets. You're going to have to use some eye discipline, but I think that's going to play into Tennessee's favor. Rodney Garner's shown one thing since he came back to Tennessee. You're not going to run the football on us, and I think that plays into Tennessee's favor. If we can't run the football, if it's going to come down to the passing game, I like Joe Milton way more than I like what Leary's done. He's looked awful, and I think he's gonna force some things. I think turnovers. I think Tennessee running the football, and I think Joe Milton are the difference. I'm going Tennessee 34. Wait, that's Dauber's score. I wrote it down. Tennessee 31, Kentucky 20. I think we take care of business on the road. I think we roll into that Kentucky game, or excuse me, that Georgia game, with an opportunity to go win 10 football games. Let me hit this super chat from Scotty Hurley. That's a 20 spot. That's Orange Boy. You guys know what we do for Orange Boys. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
I'll also go update the leaderboard just for Scotty Hurley. Biggest super chat of the night. Appreciate that. Shout out to Arkansas Vol. $225 super chat last night on the complete chaos of a Tuesday night stream. But Scotty Hurley says, ready to get a big win this week. Vols 42-17. I don't think they can run on us, and we will run all over them. Tough matchup for Kentucky. If you ever need another pinch hitter, always available. What's up, Begley? Oh, that's Matt's boy. I never realized that's your guy until he tells me he's your guy, and then I remember the conversation. You see what happened? I insulted Coach Jay, and then he pops up in the chat. It's amazing how that happens. All right, Matt, give us your score prediction. You and I kind of seem on the same page with this matchup. So dive into it. Give us a little bit of something, and then give us your score prediction. Shout out, Scotty. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, what's up, Scotty? I agree with you, Boogie, and I think you and I are on the same page. I agree. I think this football game is going to be a matchup win for Tennessee. I really believe that we're going to stop the run and make Leary beat you. I don't think he can. I'm excited to see what this front seven does with that offensive line, because I can tell you right now, they're not Alabama. They're not. Defensively, they're not Alabama either. Missouri ran all over them a few weeks ago. And I expect Tennessee's run game to be more similar to what it looked like against A&M than it was last week. So I think one of the biggest keys to this game is going to be Joe, but I also think one that we have not talked about is Gerald Mincey healthy. He came out of the game. Dane Davis went in. It's the knee that he hurt, I think, in the A&M game. If he comes in and is healthy, then the right side of that line is good. But he struggled on Saturday, and you could see it. He locked himself up. But Dane Davis came in and played well. So what does the O-line look like? But to me, I think Joe does enough to go get us a win. I agree with you. The legs are going to be big here. Some read options that he keeps when they commit down. And I'm looking for one more receiver to step up with Squirrel. Who's it going to be? I saw the Dante Thornton go for 100 plus, and then the LOL after it. I don't believe it's him, but can somebody else step up? But I like Tennessee in this matchup. I think it's tough for Kentucky to match up against Tennessee, especially us being their daddy. I don't think we're going to put up 42 like Scotty says, but I think we're going to blow them out. I believe it's 38-20. And it's not close. I think we're going to run away with it and give up a late one to make it an 18-point game.
We're going to continue these predictions, but I cannot believe that I thought the entire time that Arkansas Vol dropped a $225 super chat.
He's claiming fraud now.
And it was Micah Bush. Micah Bush did it. Micah Bush dropped a $182 super chat and a $225 super chat last night. And the whole time I thought it was Arkansas Vol. That tells you how much fun I was having being DJ Boogie. Like, you guys don't understand. If you didn't witness it, you don't understand. It was insanity. It's the wildest night in the history of the Talkin VAWLS network. Man, can you sum it?
I could not put it down. It was, I mean, it was to say insane might be an understatement. And your musical talents, my friend, you know, we're gonna have to screen share that next time, because that was so fun. I think only 55 people in America saw it too. So
I know there's nobody in the chat. Mike is dropping ridiculous super chats. Wayne dropping ridiculous super chats, and I'm on here dancing and singing music and pretending that I'm a radio DJ in East Tennessee. That is what God. Jeff Bucket says last night was crazy. That's why you guys got to show up on a Tuesday night NCAA stream. 5.5 hours, 6 hours later. Ben Gaylor was here for the entire thing too. What a freaking insane night. So much fun. Shout out to you guys. I love those diehards, man. VFL Willie says it was definitely fun. Those diehards that get to partake in that live. And then it gets deleted immediately, and everybody's like, what are you idiots talking about? All right, X, you're up, man. What do you got coming up? Tennessee, Kentucky, Saturday night, 7 p.m. kickoff.
All right. Well, we all know that we are Kentucky's daddy. We own Kentucky faithfully. So I feel like you guys. I feel pretty good going into this matchup. It is funny because I was talking to my coworkers at work, you know, after the Alabama loss and everything, and then they're talking about, well, you got Kentucky up next. Are you worried about them? I just calmly looked at them and said, I'm not worried about Kentucky. And they're like, are you sure? Are you sure? Only because, like we just talked about, you got to stop their run game. If you stop Kentucky's run game, I mean, what else do they have? Because, like we said, their quarterback, he's putting up terrible numbers. Terrible, terrible. Like I said, our defense is definitely going to eat, just like they've been doing most of the season so far. And like I said, it just comes down to Joe. I mean, Joe's got to go out and be Joe, perform really well. The only concern that I do have, though, is, like I said, we just got to capitalize in the red zone. We got to find some way just to punch it in and convert and just take command of that. But I like Tennessee in this matchup. I'm going to go ahead and say Tennessee 37, Kentucky 25. I think we'll definitely come out with a dub for this one. And, yeah, the crowd noise is not going to affect us at all. So it's going to be a good win for us going forward.
Let me hit a couple of super chats here. Travis Adair for 5. Hey, Boogie doesn't have that amateur hour shirt on today. Beautiful. AEW equals amateurs, imitators, and wannabes. Travis, how dare you? You're an Arkansas fan. You're an Arkansas fan. Go drink a cold burr with your coach. Oh, Travis, I love you and hate you at the same time. Shot by Andrew for 2. What up, GBO? At least he didn't insult my shirt. I'm surprised I haven't got an insult with my shirt yet, but that's fine. We'll take it. We're surviving. All right, JP. Man, it seems like a common theme. Everybody thinks Tennessee's going to win this one by a couple of scores. Where you at confidence-wise?
I mean, I think this is one of those games that I could see Tennessee losing by two scores, and I could see them winning by two scores. I mean, really, it's just going to boil down to which team shows up. You know, I think obviously that Tennessee has better talent. I think that overall that they're the better football team, but this team has shown that they're very inconsistent from game to game, from quarter to quarter. And, you know, can this team come out and play a 4-quarter football game like they did the first half against Bama? If they do, then, you know, we don't have anything to worry about. I mean, we'll go up there and steamroll them, but can they actually do that? You know, that's the question with it. You know, can this team get up off the mat after that tough loss Saturday and go into a hostile environment and win? You know, if they can do that, then, you know, I think that that Tennessee would win comfortably. But I'm telling you, I mean, Kentucky is going to be ready. Stoops will have this football team ready coming off a bye. You know, you would imagine that they are extremely desperate for a win after losing their last 2. So Tennessee better come in and show from the very beginning that they're there to play. I'm not sold that they're going to do that, but I'm going to have history on my side. I think the Vols go in there. I think that we're all sitting there Saturday night at 10:30 sweating it out. But I think the Big Orange will find a way to win it 27-23.
I'll take a win. I'll take a win any way we can get it. Jazzy for $10 says Tennessee 45, Kentucky 24. Appreciate that super chat. $10 ain't cheap, man. That's a very generous super chat. I appreciate that. Travis drops another 5, says Tennessee wins this week. Make sure you stomp the crap out of Missouri on November the 11th, too. I'm expecting it. Oh, man.
Well, let's be real. Listen, I'm so confident, I'm not even going to turn off my TV this weekend.
You better not. You better not. Especially if you're going to be on the post-game show. I find out you turned off your TV, I'll slap you so fast your head will spin. We'll do it live on air. Boogie versus X cage match. That'll be the next Tuesday night stream. Tune in. Don't miss it. All right, man. Been a fun show. Always a good time talking football with JP, the X Factor, and Matt. Appreciate you coming on kind of short notice. Told you yesterday. But always good time talking football with you guys. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Friday morning, 9:30 a.m., I'll be breaking down this game with Coach Jay. We may even argue about quarterbacks. I took a shot at him, spoiler alert, on Locked On Vols. I hope you watch it, Coach Jay, and I hope you appreciate it because I definitely took a shot at you. We'll also be covering this thing on Saturday. We'll do the tailgate show an hour before kickoff. You got to be a member of the channel. Make sure that you hit that join button down below. We would appreciate all that support, and then we'll be live immediately following the game. But that is going to do it for this one. For Vols JP, appreciate you coming on, brother. For the X Factor, for Matt Begley, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin Vols Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call home.